Welcome everyone to the supplement. We're hoping that you've totally got this by the end of the presentation. My name is Roxana and I work at College Com along with Jenny, and today we're going to talk to you about the supplement questions. The important thing to note is that there are amazing examples in this presentation, and we're going to kind of fly through it so you can get our commentary, but we will give you a link to the presentation so you can go through it at your own pace. Jenny's done an amazing job pulling different essays from different students for different supplement questions, and I think it's really helpful. She's color-coded sort of how they talk about themselves and how they talk about the university. It's definitely worthwhile for you to go through at your own pace and read through the presentation. But we will give you our commentary here.
Okay, so first and foremost, there are a couple different types of supplemental questions that colleges can ask. They might ask the extracurricular essay. You know, what have you done extracurricularly that stood out to, or your favorite extracurricular that you've done? They have the why this school essay, why this major essay, or they might even have school-specific questions that are geared towards knowing how you and the college fit together, okay? So typically most supplements are 100 to 250 words. Some, like Lawrence University, 47 words, right? But they're not as big a lot of times as your personal statement, which you can go up to 650 words, okay? So they're just trying, short and sweet, trying to know a little bit more about you and how you fit with the school.
So here's the do's and don'ts. So one thing you have to know me is that I've read thousands of applications. I've worked in admissions at 2 different universities, and I want to really hammer in these do's and don'ts. So what do you want to do? You want to research each college. And when I say research, I mean really research. You want to dig deep. Look at classes and have names of classes that you want to take. Look at professors and what they're doing. Look at their common curriculum and their core. You know, what are you going to have to be taking? Get as much information as you can so that you can think about what your first year at that university might be like. You can reach out to local admissions representatives and ask them questions if there's things that you want to know a little bit more about. You definitely, when you're looking at supplementals, you want to look at it in a holistic way. What's in my personal statement? What's on the supplement? Be specific and be concise, okay? If they give you 500 words, it doesn't mean that they want 500 words. They might actually like a really tight 400 words. And most importantly, answer the question. Here's what you need to avoid. Do not write about the weather, location, or size of the college. And here's the thing. When I worked at Stanford, they asked the question of why do you want to go to Stanford? And I would say 75% of the things that I read said that people liked the palm trees, the weather, and the location. I also worked at Santa Clara. Guess what? They have the same palm trees, they have the same weather, and they have the same location. These are not reasons to choose a school, because it applies to a whole bunch of schools, okay? Now, another thing, you can't spend 250 words saying, I just really, really, really want to come here. It's amazing. I love everything about it. If you're going to go that route, you better be pretty darn specific. And also, I think colleges get a little bit tired of, I've been wearing the sweatshirt since I was 5 years old, you know, those types of things. They want to know what you want to do on campus. How are you going to make an impact? Definitely, if you're pulling things from other supplements, don't mess up the school name, the colors, or the mascot, or the name of their stadium, or what sport it is that you're super excited about. Be very careful if you're doing that type of cutting and pasting. Do not rehash your personal statement. You got to trust that they got that. They understand that. These supplements are an opportunity to talk about something else. The other piece is you need to answer the why. They're asking you a question that you can answer probably pretty simply, and then they want to know why that's your answer. So please give some details.
So in terms of brainstorming, I actually put footage in here of a student's notes actually doing this, which I think I was so happy to go through their Google Drive and find it. It was like, oh, it made my brainstorming heart happy. But really, if you're trying to think about what it is that you want to answer, like why Northwestern, divide a piece of paper into 2 columns and put your name on one side and put Northwestern's on the other. And then think about like the social fit and the academic fit factors that you used in your research to apply to Northwestern in the first place. Then delve deeper into all of the things that you researched in your secondary resources and your secondary research, and write those things down in the Northwestern column. And then think about yourself and why you chose to apply there, and what things that you've done in high school that kind of match up with the things that Northwestern offers. And that's how you kind of brainstorm out these supplements, and then you kind of put it all together. At first it sounds a little weird, but when we write and rewrite and revise it, and when you do that, it starts to become more clear why us. And these are actually like my favorite supplements to work on students with, because I just get excited at the vision of them actually being on that campus.
And you have to remember, they're asking why us, but half of this essay is about you. It's an opportunity for you to share things about yourself. So it's half them, half you.
So in the extracurricular essay, you're doing kind of the same thing. Look at your activities and try to choose activities that showcase leadership, an area of interest, or times that you've taken initiative on something, and then how you've developed that interest. Use concise, descriptive sentences that tell us exactly what you did, and then focus on the impact, who it helped and why. So if you look at this supplemental question about for Brown, they're asking, elaborate on one of your extracurricular activities or work experience. So this student, the first sentence, she tells exactly what she did. I was a music mentor, and this is what its purpose was. And then at the end, she tells you her why. Why was this extracurricular so important to her? Because living in the Silicon Valley, where the arts are often considered second tier, what she feels, to STEM programs, this was something she found so valuable that she had to be a part of it, right? Great stuff there. So she tells her a little bit about you, and then kind of gives you her why at the end. So ways to reduce the amount you write is that you do not need to recreate for every single essay. Write, reuse, and recycle, right? So for Tulane's Why Us question, this same student took some of the verbiage that she used for the Brown supplement and put that into the Tulane's supplement, right? The beauty of supplements, the beauty of the UC's questions is that you can reuse some of the same material because colleges are asking some of the same things. The only thing that really is different is how you pair up with what you did with what the college offers, right? But you're doing that research anyway, but it's nice to pull language from different places. That's why we often tell students to write those UC questions first, because there are a lot of extracurricular things that you mentioned, and you can write, reuse, and recycle to reduce the amount that you're actually writing.
So specifically for the why us questions, you want to think about what you've done similar to what the college offers. So if you have been involved in, a recycling club, and you know that you want to study environmental science, right? The first part of the why us, and this is where I think students go astray sort of at the beginning, is you have to answer the academic piece, okay? You have to say things that you're interested in academically to being on campus. And now, Tufts question is super short, so you have to be super quick about it. But in a Tulane or a Northwestern or a Michigan, you have a lot of space. So you first want to think about what angle you're going to take academically. And part of that is thinking about what you have to support it in terms of the things that you've done. So you want to go back and research the things as, why was this school a good fit, right? What was the academic fit? What was the social fit? What were the things you got excited about when you read it about it the first time? And then think about how to match these things up, right? Half about you, half about them. And what you're trying to do is figure out the best way to put those things together. Add specific classes, majors, opportunities, both inside and outside of the classroom, so that the school knows you have done your research. That is the point of this question. Does this student want to go here enough to spend the time it takes to write something that shows us that they really want to come.
So this is another great example of YS. It's different for each student, but it has a focus, right? So why are you interested in American University? And the other student was, why are you interested in Tufts? And here, if you look at the color coding, YS is in the beginning, the strong academics, international relations, and a politically active student body. She mentions her demonstrated interest in here, and then also how the student got involved in high school and what American offers is in purple, and then why us again at the end. So she really packed it in here in 150 words using concise, descriptive language, but it ended up being one of my favorite supplements that the student actually wrote. And then for the YS example for Northwestern, again, she has more words. The student had more words to work with, but there's a great intro, speaks about what about Northwestern appeals specifically to her in terms of academics, in addition to social things, and then mentions things that she's done and wants to do in terms of extracurriculars. So those are in the red highlights. And then why this major? You know, I think this is another really important one. And I think one of the things to look at, like Chapman University has why Chapman and why this major. So when you're looking at the supplements as a whole, you need to have different things kind of in different areas, which can trip students up a little bit. But in why this major, you know, mention your interests and involvement, add specific classes, specific majors, and specific opportunities, answer the question and be succinct. And again, at the end, don't forget that why. So this is a lot to pack in 200 words or fewer.
So then there's other supplemental essays, right? They're looking for a lot of different things in these supplementals. Everything from, you know, your ability to think critically, what you're intellectually curious about, how you might fit in with the student body, and also your uniqueness. Right? So when we go through these with students, we might come up with 3 or 4 different ways, especially with a University of Maryland or USC that have sort of these short answers. Do not underestimate the power of 160 characters to show an aspect of yourself, right? So, you know, in this one, the most interesting fact I ever learned from research, right? This one is related to a student who is really interested in psychology and actually criminal psychology. And they're able to get that across by just talking about a little bit of research that they did, right? My favorite thing about last Wednesday was think about in the totality of the application, what else do I want them to know about me? This student wanted them to know that not only does she work, she feels really strongly about her coworkers. And that's been a really important part of her high school experience. And you get a taste of that, even though the word count is really small.
And then some other supplemental questions, like here, I think the question they're asking is let your life speak. And so don't be afraid to be unique in this. The student here took her idea of Thanksgiving and that they don't have the traditional Thanksgiving meal. They eat shrimp curry instead of turkey stuffing and whatever. And everybody else has, and everyone in their family participates in the preparation of the shrimp curry. And that's kind of like her cooperative environment that she's grown up in, but it's shaped her world. And so she took that traditional Thanksgiving in a non-traditional way and use that to speak about her life. And I think it was unique and fresh and it was about her. So it worked.
All right, here are your tips for great supplements, right? You want to, just like interviews and other times that you're trying to get the totality of you across, think about your application as sort of this constellation. Each small piece of the supplement comes together to kind of show you as a whole person. I know a lot of students struggle and say, I'm not unique. I don't have anything interesting to say. You know what? You do. And you just need to kind of get in touch with those pieces. One of the things we have students do, which is really hard, but actually Jenny and I have done it as well, is like 20, interesting things about you, right? Go. And you actually will find some things in there that might be little pieces that can go onto a supplement that might be really, kind of complete the picture for you. If there's a small word count, start big and then whittle it down to your best information. It might take 3 times of cutting it down, but figure out what you want to say and then get it to the word count. You will be amazed at what you can get across in 100 words if you're very diligent and if you're just really, really careful with your words. You are going to write, rewrite, try different ways. Again, even if it's 250 words, that's a lot of space on a college application. And at the end, right, if your entire application, when you look at everything and